If you're joining us for the first time, this is the place where we talk about finance, wealth, real estate, and the systems that transform ordinary investors into extraordinary empire builders. In today's video, we're diving deep into a topic that has puzzled and inspired countless investors around the world: how to scale from one property to an empire. This isn't just about buying more houses or chasing the next deal. It's about strategy, leverage, mindset, and the long-term blueprint that separates those who stay small from those who build generational empires. Whether you're standing in front of your first rental property or managing a small portfolio, the principles you'll discover in this series will completely reshape how you think about growth, risk, and opportunity. So, grab a notebook, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure your notifications are on, because what we're about to explore could redefine your financial journey forever. Real estate empires are not built overnight. They are not built with luck, nor with shortcuts, nor by people who simply wait for the perfect moment. They're built by ordinary people who learn extraordinary discipline, those who act decisively, learn relentlessly, and scale strategically. In this video, we will take the journey from the foundation, expand the depth and the practical strategies involved, the mindset, the first steps, and the systems that allow you to grow safely and intelligently. We will reveal advanced strategies, empire-level financing, and frameworks to take your portfolio to heights most investors only dream of. The first step: building the foundation. Before a single wall goes up, before the first tenant signs, there is a mindset that must be poured like concrete, a belief that ownership is not an event, it is a process. And that process starts right here. When most people look at a building, they see bricks, paint, and windows. But investors, true builders, see systems, cash flow, and future equity. They see time working for them instead of against them. Your first goal is not to buy fast, it's to buy right. Every empire has a foundation, and in property, the foundation is knowledge. Learn how to evaluate deals, read the market, and understand how money moves through real estate. Start small, but start smart. Look for undervalued properties in growing neighborhoods. Study supply, demand, and local trends. Numbers don't lie, but emotion often does. The first property teaches more than any course or seminar. It teaches patience, pressure, and performance. It shows you how financing works, what tenants truly value, and how to manage maintenance, taxes, and insurance without losing sleep. Remember this: the goal of your first property is not perfection, it's progress. Don't chase the biggest building, chase the best learning curve. Every mistake you make on your first deal becomes wisdom on your second. When you walk into that first house, feel the history, the potential, and the responsibility. Ask yourself, what could this place become under the right hands? That question alone separates the dreamers from the doers. You'll face fear of debt, fear of failure, fear of what others will think. But fear is simply unused energy. Redirect it into focus, because the only way to fail in real estate is to stop learning. Understand your numbers. Cash flow is king. A property that looks beautiful but bleeds money is not an asset. It's a liability dressed in nice paint. Always calculate rent minus expenses and make sure your net income covers every hidden cost: taxes, repairs, vacancies. Then, build reserves. A good investor sleeps better knowing tomorrow's surprise is already paid for. As you analyze deals, remember leverage. Leverage is not just about borrowing money. It's about using tools, time, and relationships to multiply results. Your first mortgage is not a chain, it's a lever. Used wisely, it lifts you higher. Surround yourself with mentors and professionals who've walked the path. A trusted agent, a reliable contractor, a sharp accountant. These are your early allies. Because empire builders don't guess. They calculate, test, and adjust. Take that first leap. Even a small rental, even a single condo, can open doors you never imagined. Once you own that first property, your mindset shifts forever. You stop thinking like a consumer and start acting like a producer. You begin to see cash flow where others see rent payments. You see opportunity where others see risk. You understand that wealth is not earned once. It's built over and over through consistency. And when the day comes that you collect your first rent check, remember how far you've come. That check is not profit alone. It's proof. Proof that you can build, manage, and grow. So, welcome to the starting line of your empire. From this moment, everything changes. Your thoughts, your habits, your circle, and your future. Because once you own one property, the next is no longer a dream. It's simply the next step. If this message hits home, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure your notifications are on, because what you're about to learn could transform how you think about growth, leverage, and wealth itself. Now let's consider the power of leverage, the single most misunderstood concept in wealth creation. Most people fear debt. They've been taught that borrowing is dangerous, that loans are traps, that the safest path is to avoid risk entirely. But what they were never taught is that leverage is not the enemy. Ignorance of leverage is. When used correctly, leverage is the great multiplier. It's how ordinary people build extraordinary portfolios. It's how you control more assets with less capital. It's how empires grow, not by luck, but by intelligent borrowing. Think of it like this. If you can buy a $300,000 property with $60,000 down, you've just multiplied your buying power 5 times. If that property appreciates even modestly, say 10%, you don't earn 10% on your total value, you earn 50% on your cash invested. That's the mathematics of leverage. It's not gambling, it's precision. But leverage cuts both ways. Used carelessly, it magnifies mistakes. Used strategically, it amplifies wealth. The secret lies in control, not over the market, but over your decisions. Before you borrow, understand the flow of money. Every dollar should have a job before you spend it. Map your cash flow, your mortgage terms, your potential risks. If you can't explain your deal on a napkin, you don't understand it well enough yet. Banks are not your enemies. They are partners with rules. Their goal is not to deny you, it's to protect their capital. Show them that you can protect it better. That's how you earn trust and better terms. There are 3 kinds of leverage in real estate: financial, operational, and relational. Financial leverage is obvious, using loans, equity, or investors' money to acquire more assets. Operational leverage comes from systems and automation, doing more with less time. Relational leverage is about people, mentors, agents, partners, contractors. Together, they form the triangle of scalable growth. Use them wisely. When you combine financial leverage with operational systems, your portfolio grows without chaos. Add strong relationships and you gain speed, knowledge, and opportunity others will never access. Remember this: the wealthy don't buy real estate with their own money. They use other people's money, other people's time, and other people's expertise, while still providing value to everyone involved. That's ethical leverage, the kind that builds trust instead of burning bridges. If you invest $1, make sure that dollar works for you. If you borrow $1, make sure it returns 2. And if you leverage time, make sure it produces results even when you're asleep. That's how wealth compounds, not in the big leaps, but in the quiet consistency of structure. You may be thinking, but what if the market crashes? And that's a fair question. Markets move in cycles: expansion, peak, contraction, recovery. Empires survive because they build buffers in the boom to withstand the dip. Keep your debt service coverage healthy, your reserves intact, and your mindset steady. Because fear sells houses cheap, and the prepared investor buys when others panic. There will be people who tell you, play it safe. But remember, safety and stagnation often live next door. The goal is not reckless risk, but intelligent control. Study your leverage, respect it, master it. When you start stacking properties, leverage becomes exponential. You refinance one asset to fund the next. You recycle capital, pulling equity from your wins to fuel new opportunities. Soon, your portfolio feeds itself. The cycle repeats: faster, stronger, smarter. And one day you'll look back at your first property and realize it was never about the house itself. It was about the tool it taught you to use. Because leverage is not just a financial mechanism, it's a mindset. It's the belief that small beginnings can lead to massive outcomes if you learn how to multiply what you have. Never forget, the average person spends their life trading hours for dollars, but an investor uses dollars to buy hours. That's leverage, and that's how freedom begins. So as you move forward, ask yourself, how can I make what I already have work harder for me? Who can I learn from, partner with, or collaborate with to reach the next level? And most importantly, how can I make my time compound, not just my money? Because in the end, leverage is not about borrowing from a bank, it's about borrowing from possibility. And when you master that, the empire is no longer a dream, it's your direction. If you've been inspired so far, make sure to keep listening, because in the next chapter, we'll uncover how to build powerful partnerships and how people, not money, become your greatest asset on the path to scale. Now, let's look at partnerships and scaling mechanics. No empire is built alone. Every great builder understands this truth early. The ceiling of your success is limited by the size of your circle. Money is important, but people are the true currency. Capital gets you started. Relationships get you scale. When you first begin, it's easy to believe that doing everything yourself saves money. You fix the pipes, you handle the paperwork, you manage the tenants, negotiate the deals, and oversee the renovations. It feels productive until you hit your limit. Then you realize that real success isn't about control, it's about coordination. Scaling requires trust, and trust is earned through transparency, reliability, and alignment. You can't grow by micromanaging. You grow by multiplying your capability through others. There are three key partnerships every investor must master: operational, financial, and strategic. Operational partners are the people who keep your machine running. Contractors, managers, assistants, agents. They help you maintain consistency while you focus on vision. Financial partners are your investors and lenders, those who believe in your ability to create returns. Treat their capital as sacred, protect it as if it were your own, and your reputation will compound faster than your returns. Strategic partners are the rare ones, those who bring ideas, deals, and opportunities. They don't just share the profit, they share the growth. These are the people you brainstorm with at midnight, who see the same future you do. Choose partners who complement your weaknesses, not your strengths. If you're analytical, find someone creative. If you're visionary, find someone structured. Balance creates power. But remember, alignment comes before agreement. Partnerships fail not because of money, but because of mismatched values. Be clear about goals, timelines, and expectations. Put everything in writing. A handshake builds goodwill. A contract preserves it. When you start scaling, partnerships become leverage in human form. Each new alliance multiplies your reach, your knowledge, and your opportunities. A network is not about how many people you know. It's about how many people trust you. Trust is built in silence, but tested in storms. You'll know your real partners when things go wrong. When the market dips, the renovation runs over budget, or the numbers don't add up. Watch who stays at the table. Partnerships are also how you attract investors. When people see your integrity in action, they'll want to be part of your vision. They don't invest in property, they invest in the person managing it. And when they see you follow through, communicate honestly, and deliver results, they'll back your next deal without hesitation. Scaling mechanics are the systems behind these relationships. Once your partnerships are in place, create processes that make collaborations seamless. Shared dashboards, clear reporting, consistent meetings. Structure is freedom. It allows creativity without chaos. Never forget to build win-win relationships. Greed is short-sighted. Fairness scales. When everyone at the table feels seen, valued, and rewarded, growth accelerates. And when disagreements arise, and they will, handle them with respect. A calm mind solves more than a loud voice ever will. In the world of real estate, your reputation is your greatest renewable asset. Protect it fiercely. Now let's talk about scaling mechanics. Scaling isn't about buying faster, it's about growing smarter. You can't multiply inefficiency and expect success. That's why every step forward must be measured by how sustainable it is. Build frameworks that work without you. If every decision requires your presence, you've built a job, not a business. Empires are built when the system continues even in your absence. Start by documenting your processes. How you evaluate deals. How you communicate with partners. How you handle emergencies, invoices, and timelines. Turn your instincts into instructions. That's how you turn personal success into a repeatable model. Technology is your ally here. Use project management tools, automated reminders, and shared financial software. Remove guesswork from collaboration, because when your systems speak clearly, your partnerships work smoothly. Scaling also requires boundaries. As your circle grows, you'll attract noise, people with ideas, offers, and shortcuts. Be kind, but stay focused. Every yes must serve your core vision. Every no protects your long-term peace. The moment you feel stretched thin, pause and reassess. Ask, is this growth or distraction? Because expansion without direction is just exhaustion. True scale is peaceful. It's controlled, calculated, and consistent. You don't need to chase 10 new projects. You need to perfect one system that can handle 10. And as your partnerships deepen, something powerful happens. You begin to attract others who think like builders. They bring ideas, they open doors, and together you create synergy. This is where empires start taking shape. Remember this law of growth. You go faster alone, but farther together. Partnerships extend your reach, multiply your time, and keep you grounded. They turn your vision into a shared mission. So keep your standards high, your words solid, and your agreements clear. Because in the end, it's not the number of properties you own that builds your empire. It's the number of people who believe in the way you build it. If this session resonates with you, please comment the word empire. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure your notifications are on. Next, we'll uncover how to build systems and automation, the invisible architecture that keeps an empire running even while you sleep. Now let's consider the systems and automation part. An empire doesn't grow by effort alone, it grows by design. You can build one property with passion. You can manage 2 with hustle, but to manage 10, 20, 50, you need systems. Without systems, even the hardest worker burns out. Think of systems as your silent partners. They don't sleep, they don't forget, they don't make excuses, they perform consistently. Automation doesn't replace you, it frees you. It gives you back time, the one asset you can never buy more of. And in real estate, time is leverage in its purest form. Every repetitive task can be automated or delegated. Tenant onboarding, rent collection, maintenance tracking, accounting, communication, all of it can run on rails. The sooner you systemize, the faster you scale. Start with what drains your focus most. Ask yourself, what am I doing repeatedly that could be handled by a process, a person, or a program? That question alone can save you hours every week. Hours you can reinvest in strategy, acquisition, and expansion. Let's break it down. First, operational systems. These are the daily engines that keep your portfolio alive. Use property management software to automate rent reminders, maintenance requests, and financial reports. Use project trackers to monitor renovations, budgets, and timelines. Let data do the heavy lifting, because data never lies. Second, financial systems. Cash flow in, expenses out, profit tracked automatically. Connect your banking, accounting, and management tools. At any moment, you should know your exact financial health without calling your accountant. Real-time clarity prevents panic. Third, communication systems. Chaos thrives in silence. Clear communication keeps your team aligned, your tenants satisfied, and your partners confident. Set up weekly check-ins. automated updates, and central channels for decisions. When everyone knows what's happening, momentum never slows. Now, the real secret: automation meets delegation. Technology handles data. People handle direction. You're the architect of both. Use automation to manage predictable tasks and delegate judgment-based decisions to trusted professionals. That's how you scale without surrendering quality. Remember, a system isn't a set of tools, it's a mindset. It's the discipline to do things the same way every time until it's so efficient it feels effortless. And when your systems are tight, opportunities expand. You can take on more deals without chaos. You can manage more units without burnout. You can grow without losing sleep. The best investors aren't the ones who do more. They're the ones who do less, better. They refine. They repeat. They remove friction. Systems also create freedom. When your portfolio runs on structure, you can step away and still earn income. That's not just success, that's sustainability. Because the goal isn't to own 100 properties, it's to live a life those properties sustain. Let's go deeper. Automation isn't just software, it's flow. Think of every process as a river. Where does it start? Where does it get stuck? Where does it end? Smooth the flow, remove the friction. That's how small systems become strong currents that move your empire forward. Don't wait until you get bigger to build systems. Build systems now so you can get bigger. Every process you automate today saves exponential time tomorrow. You're not building for where you are, you're building for where you're going. Here's a key mindset shift. Document before you delegate. Before you hand off a task, write down how it's done. Create templates, checklists, and workflows. Now, you've built something once and use it forever. That's how great companies are born, one process at a time. And don't just automate actions, automate decisions. Set clear thresholds. If rent is 5 days late, send a reminder. If maintenance exceeds a budget, trigger approval. If a property meets your ROI criteria, schedule a review. Predefined decisions save mental energy, the currency of focus. The beauty of automation is momentum. You go from reaction to creation, from firefighting to forecasting, from busy to intentional. But remember, systems evolve. What works for 5 units won't work for 50. Revisit your systems quarterly. Refine, update, simplify. Growth without adaptation leads to collapse. The empire you're building is not a monument, it's a machine. And like any machine, it must be tuned, tested, and upgraded. Now imagine this. You wake up, check your dashboard, and see rent collected, tasks completed, and projects progressing, all without your direct involvement. That's not fantasy, that's automation, and it's available to anyone willing to build it. Because here's the truth. Wealth is not about how much you own, it's about how little you have to manage. Freedom doesn't come from more work, it comes from better systems. So, build your architecture, code your consistency, let structure support your strategy. And when people look at your empire and wonder how you do it all, smile. Because you know the secret isn't doing everything, it's building a system that does it for you. If you found value in this, keep listening. In the next chapter, we'll talk about expanding your reach, how to scale beyond your city, your comfort zone, and even your country, with the same precision and power. Stay locked in. The empire is just beginning. Now let's consider scaling with purpose. We've built the foundation. We've learned to leverage. We've cultivated partnerships. We've implemented systems. Now it's time to scale with purpose. Scaling without intention is chaos disguised as growth. Buying properties for the sake of numbers, acquiring assets without direction, that is not strategy. It's accumulation. And accumulation without purpose is fragile. Ask yourself this question before every acquisition. Does this move advance my vision? Does it build wealth sustainably? Does it serve the people and systems I've created? If the answer is no, step back. If the answer is yes, move decisively. Every property you add should solve a problem or create opportunity, not just for you, for your tenants, your partners, and your team. Purposeful scaling attracts the right people and resources. It filters out distractions. It amplifies results. When scaling, discipline is your greatest asset. Set boundaries for what you will and will not do. Define your markets, your investment types, your risk tolerance. Growth is exponential, but only if it's controlled. Don't chase trends, chase strategy. Use your systems and leverage together. Refinance properties to unlock capital. Delegate operations to trusted partners. Automate repetitive tasks. Then reinvest freed time and money into new opportunities. This is the engine of compounding growth. Purposeful scaling also requires foresight. Map your portfolio like a chessboard. Consider location, demographics, market trends, and potential exit strategies. Think 5, 10, 20 steps ahead. Each acquisition should strengthen your position, not overextend it. Risk is inevitable, but purposeful scaling reduces unnecessary risk. Keep buffers in place, reserves for vacancies, repairs, and market fluctuations. Never let ambition blind your judgment. A disciplined empire grows steadily, even through storms. Mentorship becomes critical at this stage. Seek guidance from those who have scaled before. Learn from their successes, and more importantly, their failures. Emulate their frameworks, but adapt them to your vision. The mistakes you avoid accelerate your journey. Scaling is also about culture. Your team, your partners, your tenants, they are the living backbone of your empire. Treat them with respect. Communicate clearly. Reward loyalty and initiative. Culture scales faster than capital, and it endures longer than systems. When expansion happens with purpose, momentum builds. One property leads to two. Two leads to a portfolio. A portfolio becomes a regional presence, and a regional presence becomes a recognizable brand. But never lose sight of your foundation. Leverage responsibly. Maintain systems. Invest in relationships. Every layer of growth must rest on the work done in chapters 1 through 4. Otherwise, the empire will crumble under its own weight. The ultimate power of scaling with purpose is compounding influence. Financial returns grow, reputation grows, leadership grows. Every decision, every process, every partnership contributes to a snowball effect. And when done intentionally, it's unstoppable. Remember, you don't just want to grow for yourself, you want to create something that lasts beyond you, a legacy, a structure that generates wealth, opportunity, and impact long after you've moved on. So take your momentum, focus your energy, and scale with clarity. Let every acquisition serve a reason, not just a number. Let your empire reflect your principles, not just your ambition. If this session resonates with you, please hit the like button, comment your line of actions, and share this with someone that could benefit from it. Please, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and put on your notification so you don't miss the next part and subsequent thought-provoking episodes. In the next part of the series, Part 2, we'll move into leadership, innovation, and legacy. We'll explore how to take the systems, leverage, and partnerships you've built and transform them into an empire that lasts generations. Missing this part will be equal to missing the blueprint. The journey continues, and it only gets more powerful from here. Please, stay tuned. Part 2. Legacy and Leadership. Welcome to Part 2. So far, you've learned how to acquire your first property, leverage capital, build partnerships, create systems, and scale with purpose. Now we step into the realm where empires transcend buildings, leadership and legacy. Leadership is not a title. It's not corner offices, fancy suits, or boardroom authority. Leadership is influence, the ability to guide, inspire, and elevate everyone around you. In real estate, leadership transforms transactions into communities, deals into movements, profits into purpose. Your team will follow your vision only as far as they believe in you. A strong leader inspires trust. They act decisively. They communicate clearly. They take responsibility and share credit generously. Legacy begins the moment leadership is exercised wisely. It's not measured in square footage or net worth. It's measured in systems that outlast you, people you empower, and value you create for others. When you focus on building legacy, every action gains weight. Every decision compounds. Consider your tenants. The communities you develop are extensions of your influence. A well-managed property creates stability, pride, and opportunity. The ripple effect of care reaches far beyond monthly rent. Now consider your team. Train them, mentor them, and instill culture. Systems alone cannot sustain growth without people aligned in purpose. Empires fail not for lack of money, but for lack of capable leaders. Legacy also requires strategic thinking. Ask yourself, how will your decisions today shape your portfolio, your team, and your reputation tomorrow? Every acquisition, every partnership, every innovation must align with a long-term vision. Without foresight, growth becomes chaos. And yet, leadership is not perfection. It is resilience. It is the ability to stay calm when the market dips, to make tough calls when a property underperforms, to pivot when circumstances demand it. The empire is not built in smooth waters, it is forged in storms. Mentorship is a force multiplier. Seek guidance from those who have built what you aspire to. Learn from their mistakes. Study their habits, decisions, and processes. But adapt them to your vision. Legacy is personal. It cannot be copied. The most impactful leaders are also learners. They read, observe, and question. They innovate. They anticipate trends rather than react to them, and they inspire those around them to do the same. Remember, leadership is influence plus responsibility. Legacy is influence plus sustainability. When you combine both, you create something that endures, something larger than yourself. Your empire will grow not only by properties acquired, but by people empowered, systems strengthened, and communities improved. Leadership and legacy are the glue that hold everything together. In the next chapter, we'll explore expansion and influence, how to grow your presence, brand, and authority beyond your immediate market. The empire is taking shape, and the strategies we discuss next will ensure it stands tall for decades. Now, let's look at expansion and influence. You've built your foundation. You've mastered leverage, systems, and partnerships. You've scaled with purpose. You've embraced leadership and legacy. Now, it's time to expand. Expansion is more than acquiring more properties. It's about increasing your presence, your influence, and your authority in the market. The more people trust your name, the more doors open. Not just locally, but regionally, nationally, even globally. Influence compounds, just like money. It grows when you consistently deliver results. When you communicate clearly, lead decisively, and uphold integrity, others begin to see you as a solution. Someone who creates opportunity, not just owns assets. But influence requires action. You can't wait for recognition to arrive. You must create it. Speak at events, share insights, educate, mentor. Document your journey. Your story becomes your brand, and your brand becomes your leverage. Now, here's a powerful principle. Authority attracts opportunity. When people trust your vision, deals come to you. Investors seek you out. Partners approach you proactively. The market responds to reputation, not just capital. This is also the stage to diversify strategically. Move beyond your comfort zone. Explore adjacent markets. Consider different property types. Test, measure, and refine. Expansion without strategy is risk. Expansion with purpose is power. And while you grow, remember your audience. Share your journey. Educate others. Mentor the next generation. Influence isn't hoarded. It's multiplied when shared. If you're finding value in this journey so far, take a moment right now to like this video, comment below with your thoughts, and share it with someone ready to scale their real estate journey. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode that could transform your path to building an empire. Scaling influence also requires discipline. You can't say yes to every opportunity. Every partnership, collaboration, and public appearance should align with your core vision. Quality over quantity, always. Expansion without control leads to dilution. Influence without integrity leads to collapse. Balance is the key. Technology amplifies your reach. Social media, newsletters, and online platforms allow your voice to touch thousands, even millions. Your systems, your team, and your content can work 24/7, spreading your brand beyond physical boundaries. This is how you scale influence exponentially. Remember, your empire isn't measured by square footage alone. It's measured by impact, reputation, and reach. When people trust your name, the opportunities expand faster than you ever imagined. Strategic expansion also creates freedom. You no longer chase deals. Deals come to you. You don't rely on luck. You rely on systems, relationships, and credibility. Your influence becomes an asset as valuable as any property. And as your authority grows, so does your responsibility. Influence is not power without purpose. Use it wisely. Guide others. Build systems that can scale beyond your direct control. That's how empires endure. Next, we'll move into innovation and technology in real estate, where we'll explore how to future-proof your empire with tools, data, and strategies that multiply results while reducing risk. Stay tuned. The most transformative lessons are still ahead. Innovation and technology in real estate. The empire you're building is not just made of brick and mortar. It's made of information, systems, and innovation. Those who embrace technology get ahead. Those who resist get left behind. Innovation isn't just about fancy tools or software. It's about solving problems faster, smarter, and more efficiently than anyone else. It's about using every advantage at your disposal to scale without chaos. Start with data. Property trends, market analytics, rent growth projections. These are your compass. Investors who rely on intuition alone are gambling. Those who harness data are engineers of predictable outcomes. Then, consider automation and AI. Lease management, rent collection, maintenance scheduling, automated systems free your time for decisions that actually matter. AI can help you identify undervalued properties, forecast market trends, and analyze tenant patterns. This is leverage at a level previous generations couldn't imagine. 3D renderings, virtual tours, and online platforms allow you to showcase properties to global audiences. Deals no longer need to wait for foot traffic. You can attract tenants, investors, and partners from anywhere in the world. But technology is only as good as the strategy behind it. A system without process is noise. A tool without understanding is distraction. Always combine innovation with intelligence. Every piece of tech should simplify decisions, reduce risk, or increase reach. Strategic adoption of technology also protects your empire. Predictive analytics can highlight properties at risk of depreciation. Automated reporting ensures compliance and transparency. Digital systems create accountability across your team, partners, and investors. Here's a key mindset. Adapt before necessity forces you to change. Markets evolve, regulations shift, technology disrupts. The investor who waits reacts, the investor who innovates leads. And as you embrace these tools, share your knowledge. Document processes, teach your team, mentor your partners. Innovation scales not when it's hoarded, but when it's multiplied. If this session is helping you see new possibilities, take a moment to like this video. Comment below with your favorite strategy. Share it with a friend building their portfolio, and make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss the insights that can transform your real estate empire. Technology is also a multiplier of influence. A single post, email, or webinar can reach thousands. Your story, your strategy, your expertise broadcast widely. Influence attracts opportunity. Opportunity compounds into growth. But remember, tools don't replace judgment. Systems don't replace strategy. Technology amplifies execution when you know what to execute. This is where preparation meets opportunity. Finally, innovation creates freedom. Processes run while you sleep. Data guides decisions before mistakes happen. Your team performs consistently because your systems are optimized. You've built a machine, not just a portfolio. And as your empire grows, the world watches. Your innovation, leadership, and influence set you apart. It's how ordinary investors become extraordinary empire builders. Next, we move to the empire mindset, where we'll focus on strategic thinking, risk mastery, and mental frameworks that protect and multiply everything you've built. The lessons ahead will prepare you not just to expand, but to endure. The empire mindset. Before we close this chapter, take a moment to reflect. From your first property to the systems, partnerships, and technology you've implemented, you've traveled far. But an empire is as much a mental construct as it is a physical one. The empire mindset is about thinking bigger, planning longer, and acting smarter than the average investor. It's about discipline, vision, and resilience. It's the mental framework that allows you to navigate risk, embrace opportunity, and remain calm under pressure. Start by mastering patience. Growth is rarely linear. Markets rise and fall, properties appreciate unevenly, but your mindset must remain steady. The investor who panics in downturns forfeits opportunity. The one who acts with clarity and confidence thrives. Next, embrace strategic risk. Every empire builder faces uncertainty. The difference between failure and success is calculated risk, not avoidance. Every property, every deal, every partnership should be analyzed. Potential reward, downside, and mitigation. Then decide and act decisively. Develop discipline and consistency. The empire mindset is not inspired by emotion, it is strengthened by habit. Daily routines, weekly reviews, monthly audits, they compound over time. Consistency builds credibility, reputation, and results. Your thoughts shape your actions. Visualize the empire you want. Break it down into measurable steps. Execute relentlessly. Every morning ask, what decision today moves my vision forward? Every evening reflect, what can I refine for tomorrow? The empire mindset also protects your focus. Ignore distractions, avoid shiny objects, and stay aligned with your strategy. Noise is everywhere, in trends, in advice, in fear. Your mental discipline determines whether these forces amplify or derail you. Leadership and influence are part of this mindset. Empires are sustained not by transactions, but by the people who follow your vision. Your team, your tenants, your investors. Their trust is earned by your character, clarity, and competence. Influence compounds faster than money when exercised responsibly. Resilience is your shield. Setbacks are inevitable. Renovations go over budget. Markets dip. Tenants leave. But an empire-minded investor absorbs lessons, adapts, and moves forward stronger. Finally, vision beyond self is the ultimate hallmark of the empire mindset. Think generationally. Build systems, structures, and relationships that endure beyond your tenure. Wealth is transient, but legacy lasts. As you integrate patience, discipline, strategic risk, influence, and resilience into your mindset, you create a foundation unshakable by external forces. Your empire becomes not just a portfolio, but a movement. In the next session, our final one, we'll tie everything together, reflecting on your journey, the strategies, the mindset, and the ultimate vision. We'll close with a cinematic, motivational finale that solidifies your path from one property to a lasting empire. As we approach the final part of this exciting episode, take a deep breath and look back. From a single property to everything you've learned about leverage, systems, partnerships, innovation, and mindset, you've traveled a path that few dare to take. Remember that first step, the first lease signed, the first rent check, the first property inspection. You started small, uncertain, and ambitious. And now, here you stand on the threshold of empire. Building an empire is not just about acquiring assets. It's about vision, discipline, resilience, and purpose. It's about thinking bigger, acting smarter, and creating value that lasts beyond your lifetime. The strategies you've learned, leveraging capital, building strong partnerships, implementing systems, innovating with technology, expanding influence, and cultivating the right mindset, are your blueprint. But the most powerful tool is your belief in yourself. Belief that you can grow, learn, adapt, and lead. Belief that your empire is more than just properties, it's impact. Every setback, every challenge, every late-night decision you've faced has prepared you for this moment. Empires are not born from luck. They are forged in persistence, courage, and relentless focus. Look forward. Visualize your next step. Picture the properties, the partnerships, the systems, and the influence you will continue to build. Imagine the legacy you'll leave, a framework for others to follow, a wealth of opportunity, and a life of freedom you've designed intentionally. And remember, the journey does not end here. Each session, each lesson, each decision is part of a continuing story. The empire grows not only with your assets, but with your wisdom, leadership, and vision. If this series has inspired you, take a moment right now to like this video, comment your biggest takeaway, and share it with someone ready to start their own empire. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our thought-provoking episodes designed to elevate your knowledge, strategies, and mindset. You have the tools, the blueprint, and the mindset. Now, it's time to act. One property, one decision, one system at a time. Your empire is waiting. Believe in your process, trust your growth, lead with purpose, and never stop scaling. This is your moment of clarity and empowerment. The empire is not just in your hands, it's in your mind, your strategy, and your unwavering vision. Step forward, build, scale, inspire. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.